Young people don't vote in large numbers. Okay, they're the group of the electorate that is least likely to turn out and vote. I guess for a lot of young people, the message is, the politician's not concerned with me. The reality is that there's been a massive decline in numbers of people who turn out. There's been a massive increase in their levels of distrust in the political system and politicians and political parties in particular. In 2001 we had the lowest turnout since 1918.
There's no reason in the first place to sort of be involved in politics. Let's say you're in the 18 to 30 bracket these days. What sort of reason have you got to vote?
Young people's attitudes to politics. I think you could use apathy, cynicism, hostility, suspicion, ignorance as well, certainly.
And yes, young people are not turning out at the polls, but they are passionate about political issues.
I don't know, I'd say as a group we're not very politically active. I mean, you know, we all sort of, when we got on the bus, we read the paper and we read what's going on, but that's passive. We're not actually doing anything about it. We're not bringing our views across. So
I'm 23 now and I've only ever voted once now.
I've never ever voted. Never been registered, never voted.
I've never voted once.
I've never voted. I've never had the urge to vote. So never voted.
I intended to vote at the last general election, but I never actually got round to it, and I haven't ever done, so it'd be a nice change.
Never even crossed my mind.
In 2001 we had the lowest turnout since 1918. You know, a completely different cultural context there, completely different political context in 1918 than we have now. Young people don't vote in large numbers. Okay, they're the group of the electorate that is least likely to turn out and vote. They don't necessarily know what the parties stand for. They just, you know, they might have a sense of who the parties are, but not much more. And of course, what you said is that still a majority of people don't know enough about the parties, and a massive majority of people don't know enough about politics in order to, you know, really make an effective choice about who it is they want to vote for.
I don't know really the difference between the three parties. I know the three main parties are Conservative, Labour, is it Lib Dem?
Yeah.
Is that the three? And I know it's Charles Kennedy just because of the drinking thing. That's the only reason why I know about him.
Yeah, but he's quit, hasn't he?
Quit drinking? Is he quit drinking?
No, I think he's quit his head of
Politics, drinking.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he? Okay, and then I know...
I shouldn't really involve myself in this discussion because I'm not
Michael Howard.
Yeah.
He's Conservative, isn't he?
Who?
Michael Howard? Is it Michael Howard? Yeah. Conservatives.
I bet you can get Labour's one. Go on.
And then Labour's
Tony Blair.
good on Tony.
Isn't like Labour left wing as well and Conservatives right wing and Lib Dems in the middle? You know?
What was Hitler? Right wing?
Hitler's time was sort of
From what I
right-wing,
gather,
yeah.
that yeah, I would think he would have been right wing.
So which one's right wing? Labour's right.
No, Labour's left wing.
So Labour are creative, are they?
Like free think.
Yeah.
So when Conservatives do same like.
No, I'm not saying they're like Hitler, but what I'm saying is I think Hitler was at that kind of right wing bit.
Galaxy's main audience are young adults. If you're looking for like a demographic and age range, it's probably 15-34, but it's mainly sort of 20-somethings that listen to the station. You know, there's nobody driving you to sort of go to a polling booth. There's nobody telling you about the parties on your level, sort of thing. I hate to say on your level because it sounds really bad, but you know, there's nobody sort of our generation telling us what politics is all about and what each party stands for. So, you know, there's reason for complacency in my book. How can you expect it to be successful like those things? Because, you know, I wouldn't want Mo Mowlam or John Prescott or anybody like that. You know, they're examples of people who aren't sexy, and they're not going to sell the image of politics well at all.
Young people support the idea of elections. They think elections are a good thing. We asked them, do you think elections are a waste of time? They said, no, that's not the case. Okay, so they are supportive of the idea of elections and the idea of voting. We also asked them questions such as, you know, would you go out and vote? And they said, well, yes, but only if there's a party worth voting for. So you see the logic. Yeah, we like elections, we think they're a good thing. We would go out and vote if there are people to vote for. We don't go out and vote, therefore that's because there's no party that represents us. Because they don't consider that there are parties that genuinely talk with them and represent their ideas and their interests in Parliament. So I think that this is where the contradiction is between the high numbers of people who said they want to go out and vote and the very low number of young people who don't go out and vote. It's because they do not feel that there is anyone at this moment in time, any party or any politician, who accurately represents their interests and their needs and desires and aspirations and so on.